Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Today we're going to be talking about two new dreams that are confirming Suitcase nukes are heading our way. You can't make this stuff up. First of all, let me remind you that the death of the dollar is no more coming. It's no more a prophecy. It is now in progress. The music has stopped. I say the music has stopped. The question is, have you found a chair? You need to be getting things prepared. Secondly, the dollar is now in a death spiral as of August 24th. The Saudis now have hired the Russians to take care of them. So the dollar is about to start being, oil is about to be sold in something other than the dollar, just like Shane Warren was told back in 2010. So the dollar is in progress of falling. Also, as of September 1, there are 12 million Americans about to stop getting welfare checks, just like Shane Warren was told back in 2010. So there is a food shortage on the way from several people. If I have time, I'll get to an article on that too. According to Two Cows, the 7 years of famine started September the 6th of 2021, according to the Two Cow prophecy. That's on the internet if you want to go to our website or go to the YouTube thing and find that. So, if you need storage food, we send you to heavensharvest.com, promo code STAN. If you need something to protect your cars and your home from your computer chips frying in the event of a suitcase nuke or some kind of an EMP event, we'll send you to empshield.com, promo code PROPHECY. If you need some kind of gold, silver, or something like that, precious metals, we send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Just say Prophecy Club when you call. Okay. First of all, couple of things before we get to the new dreams here. Headline: What explains Taliban's invite to 6 countries for government ceremony? This is from sg.news.yahoo.com, September 7th, 2021. It says the Taliban is getting closer to announcing the Afghan's new government. The government has invited 6 countries to attend the government formation ceremony. I'll say that again. The government formation ceremony. Now, I'm about to read to you Daniel chapter 7, where it's talking about the third beast. See, you can't have the fourth beast. That's the world government. You can't have the fourth beast till you have the third beast formed. We have been saying in this program for a long time that the third beast is not there yet, so you don't have to worry about the world government forming until the third beast in place. But apparently, that's what this article is saying, we're about to see the third beast form, the Caliphate. All right, so it goes on to say, they're inviting them to a government formation ceremony. These countries include China, Russia, Pakistan, Turkey, Iran, and Qatar. Notably, the move shows the Taliban's effort to forge new ties with the international community, although most nations are adopting a, quote, wait-and-watch policy before recognizing the Taliban government. Pakistan is one of the 3 nations that had recognized the Taliban regime back in the 1990s. Pakistan minister said that the country has always been the custodians of the Taliban. The Taliban has maintained that Pakistan is their, quote, second home. Thus, it would not be surprising if Pakistan again becomes the first country to recognize the new Taliban government. Okay, so why is this important? So it's really important. Let's go to Daniel chapter 7, and I'll skim through this. Essentially, it's saying that there's 4 beasts that is going to be the last 4 governments of the world. And these are, in my opinion, these are bloodlines. The first beast is the lion. And by the way, it's not talking about England's have a whole lot to do with the last days. It's simply identifying here the lion had eagle's wings. It's simply saying America. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made to stand on the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. All God is saying there is that the nation I'm talking about is going to come out of the English lion. It will have the eagle as its symbol, and I will make it a nation that was not a nation. So it's talking about America. The second beast is likened to a bear, and I won't go into all the details, but it's talking about Russia. And of course, Russia was the next superpower to come along. Then we go to the third one. Here's the point we're getting to. I beheld till another one like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, and the beast had also 4 heads. 4 heads means that each one of these nations will have a ruler, a physical flesh and blood ruler. The 4 wings means that it will be 4 land masses. So it's 4 land masses. Each of them have a flesh and blood ruler. Now let's go on. And the beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now that word dominion is really important, which I don't have time to go back and explain. But if you go back into the prophecies of back in Genesis, it's saying that when he will have dominion is when he's going to be able to throw off the rule of the Israelis. Well, right now there is not a 4-nation caliphate that works together under the sign of Muslim yet. But what this is saying is it's about to form. This is probably the forming of the 3rd beast, meaning once that's in place, then we can look to the 4th beast, which is the world government. It goes on to say, and I saw after the night visions, behold, the 4th beast. There's your world government. Dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. It had great iron teeth, means it has to do with the Roman Empire, which is mostly going to come out of Europe. Not everything, but I mean, it's going to be a world government, not just the Iron Kingdom, not just the EU. The 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, had great iron teeth, and it devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. In other words, the world government will subdue all of the world. Coming out of the EU, it will subdue all of the world. And it will be diverse or different bloodline-wise than all of the other beasts. Means it's not going to be English. It's not going to be American. It's not going to be Russian. It's going to be the EU. That's what it's saying. And I beheld, and the horns were like, in this horn, let me back up. Behold, there came up among them another little horn, meaning the Antichrist, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, means as he rises to power, we will see the beast. I like calling him beast rather than the Antichrist. He will take over 3 of the 10 global regional rulers. And then, so it'll go from 10 down to 8, and then he will be the 8th ruler. And it says, and behold, and this horn, or the eyes like the eyes of a man, mean he's a flesh and blood man, and a mouth speaking great things. And that ties back to Revelation 13, has given him mouth speaking great things, and blasphemies, power is given to him to overcome. Anyway, all of that sort of stuff. So, the first point I want to make today is it may be, this is something to watch carefully, it may be that they're forming the 4-nation caliphate. I want you to look, because this is the Taliban, right here. And my opinion, China, Russia, and Qatar will not be a part of it. I think it'll be Pakistan, Turkey, and Iran, and the Taliban, or Iraq, or, Afghanistan, as it appears right now. Now, I've got something else I was wanting to cover, but I don't know if we're going to have time to cover that. So let me get on to the 2 recent dreams about Suitcase nukes. This comes to us from Chris Reed. He had a vision September 9th, and he also had the same vision back in June. So he had the vision twice. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. When God really wants to say, absolutely, positively, this is coming, he's going to give it or say it twice. In this case, if we were to look up, I think this is going to bring our total up to 13 different people that have seen or confirmed in some way that suitcase nukes are going to go off in America. So let's read it. It's a short one. He says, back in June, I had a vision. I wrote it down. I had it twice. I saw an explosion in New York in the top of a building in the penthouse. He said, last night I had the same vision. Then I scrolled down, and down in the comments of this, there was someone else's confirmation, and they had a link, and I clicked on the link and went over to, and this is another lady. Now, this is also given, so we got 2 people here that have released basically the same information the same day. Now, maybe they didn't have it the same day, but it's still all about the same time. Now, this lady, September 9th, she does not put her name on YouTube, so I can't give her any credit for hearing. But, sister, if you run across this, let me just say, if you really believe you heard from the Lord, you need to give your name. Notice that Matthew put his name in the book of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They put their name on it. Okay, so if it's God, put your name on it. If it's not God, then I understand. Maybe you want to stay anonymous. Maybe you're not really convinced that you're really hearing from God. But if you're not hearing from God, take your YouTube down. If you are hearing from God, put your name on it. Simple as that. So I believe you heard from God, so I'm going to put it on here. So she says, in this dream, I was at a mountain resort, and I felt that like an earthquake had hit as my bed rattled. Then the scene changed to the next morning. I went down to the lobby, and crowds of people were standing around. I asked people if they felt an earthquake, but none did, or even cared. Then the reception called me over to the front desk and whispered, "There was an attack on the city from inside the United States." I'll say that again. There was an attack on the city from inside the United States. That's a suitcase nuke, okay? Okay, if they send like ICBMs, that's not inside the United States. But this is an attack from on the inside, which is what Michael Boldea said. He said, I feel like I need to tell you that this came from a surprised direction. I believe this way he said it. It was a surprise. Okay, that's what a suitcase nuke would be. Like, where did that attack come from? There was an attack on the city from inside the United States. I realized it was an explosion, not an earthquake. And out of my mouth, I said, there will be 7 more attacks. The scene changed to later in the day. By this time, word had gotten out about the attack in the city. People were panicking. They were running to their cars, but the electronically locked doors would not open on some, and none of the cars would start. I realized that it was an EMP blast that had hit, meaning a nuclear event, because it has to be nuclear to send out the EMP. I sensed that it could involve many cities. I'll say it again. I sensed it could involve many cities. It's going to probably be many cities, not necessarily 7 or 8. Okay, so if we back up here, we're talking about 2 new people on the same day have released the same information. They both saw suitcase nukes going off in the nation. And if you think about it, I mean, the reason they have nuclear bombs explode up in the air rather than hitting the ground is because if it hits the ground, it doesn't go as far, doesn't do as much damage. So by exploding it up in the air, it reaches further and does more damage. So if you think about it, really the best place to have a suitcase nuke go off would be in the top of a building, specifically in one of the highest buildings. That way it would reach further out, do more damage. So when the guy says he has seen a vision of basically a suitcase nuke going off in a penthouse, makes perfect sense to me. All right, now, if I have time, let's go back up to this one. This confirms something else. As we've been saying, the dollar is on its way out. 9/8/2021. Headline, Yellen, U.S. on track to default on national debt in October. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Wednesday warned congressional leaders that the U.S. is on track to default on the national debt in October if the White House and Congress are unable to raise the debt limit. Quote, once all available measures and cash on hand are fully exhausted, the United States of America would be unable to meet its obligations for the first time in our history. Based on our best and most recent information, the most likely outcome is that cash and extraordinary measures will be exhausted during the month of October. Okay, so this is the Treasury Secretary saying that the dollar is about to die. I think it's time to give it some credibility here. She goes on to say the Treasury Department has taken so-called extraordinary measures to prevent the U.S. from defaulting on national debt since the federal debt limit was imposed on August 1. If the Treasury Department runs out of ways to stave off the default without borrowing more money, the inability of the U.S. to pay its debts could send debilitating shockwaves through the financial system. Now, let me just read the main points here from the next part of it. She says it could cause irreparable damage to the U.S. economy and global financial markets on down, she says. We fully expect Congress to act promptly to suspend the debt limit and protect the full faith and credit of the United States, and we expect them to do that in a bipartisan way, just as they did 3 times before the prior administration. But Republicans have refused to raise the debt limit ceiling unless spending cuts and debt reduction programs are attached. So, once again, we're a nation divided. The Democrats and Republicans can't get together on what they're going to do. Big problems. Now, if I have enough time, I'm going to cover this too. Next headline from Michael Snyder, dated September 8th. Headline: Why are food prices going up so rapidly? What did we say? We've been saying that the death of the dollar is no more coming. It is now in progress as of August 24th, when the Saudis signed an agreement to make the Russians their protector. Then, as of September 1, they've cut off the welfare checks going out to some 12 million Americans, so that fulfills that part of the prophecy. And the third part we're saying is that as of January 1, the two cows prophecy is saying we're now in a food famine, specifically a famine. She says, for a long time I've been warning that global food prices would be rising dramatically, and that is precisely what we've witnessed over the last 12 months. Unfortunately, global wages are not rising nearly as quickly as global food prices are, and so this has pushed millions and millions of people into poverty and hunger. Here in the United States, nobody is currently in danger of starving to death, but many Americans have been getting a severe case of sticker shock when they go to the grocery store, and I've heard this from several people. Not since the Jimmy Carter days of the 70s have we seen prices escalate like this. People are starting to get angry. Since the beginning of the pandemic, global food supplies have been getting tighter and tighter. Now, what's going on? You think this is just happening by happenstance? No. This is your Moloch and Baal worshippers. These are the people that own and control the earth, or at least they believe they do. And since their buddies are getting arrested, and since they know their name is probably on one of those sealed indictments, they are trying to say, don't do this. The food prices going up, the death of the dollar, the suitcase nukes, is all them saying. These are threats. This is blackmail. This is how they live and how they survive. And they say, if you do this to us, we'll do this to you. They live by kill, steal, and destroy. By blackmail, this is blackmail. If you don't let us have our way, to have our human sacrifice, to drink our blood or blood products, to have sex with children, to have human trafficking, to have drug trafficking, if you don't let us rule the world, then we're going to destroy it. You remember, one of them told Benjamin Fulford, and I quote, "We have been ruling this planet for thousands of years, and we will destroy it rather than give it up." Remember, Henry Kissinger is quoted as saying, "He who controls the food controls the people. He who controls the energy can control whole continents, but he who controls the money can control the world." That's where they're ultimately heading, to put their man, the beast, they call him the Antichrist, upon the golden throne of God, or the Ark of the Covenant. They want to make him God of the earth, and he wants to make everyone fall down and worship him. That's where we ultimately are going with all of this. So the ride has begun. The music has stopped. Have you found your chair? Okay, let's go back to the article. Very tight supplies and growing demand have pushed global food prices to 32.9% higher over the past year. Central banks and mainstream media continue to peddle the notion that soaring food inflation is temporary and the average Joe and Jane should not worry about it. Well, we don't think so. We think it's about to get real bad. But in a new report via the Rome-based Food and Agriculture Organization, global food prices are on the rise once again and back to near-decade highs. The FAO released a statement Thursday that detailed 2 consecutive months of declines. World food prices in August jumped to solid gains in sugar, vegetable oils, and cereals. Well, we understand it's a whole lot more serious than that. It's not just an American thing, it's a global thing. But it's about to hit America the hardest because our dollar is about to die. There's about to be protesting in the streets where they say, we want our entitlements, give us our entitlements. Remember what Shane Warne, everything, this vision that Shane Warne had seems to be coming to pass in the last 30 days. It's all on track. Okay, so let's go on. Experts are telling us that food prices are going to continue to climb. One is estimating that food prices will continue to go up like this, quote, for the next 2 years or so. Grocery prices have been on an upward trend for most of the year, and some experts say this will continue for at least the next several years. We're going to continue to see price rises, probably for the next year or so, Phil Lambert, an analyst, a food trends expert, perhaps best known as the supermarket guru, says. The Biden administration is blaming the greed on the meat processing industry. Well, again, that's what the devil does. He points the finger and says, look yonder, he's the accuser of the brethren. So when someone's pointing the finger and accusing someone else, they better look, because they got three fingers pointed back at them, and they're generally the problem. In this case, that he's only part of it. He's what you see of the problem. The people behind him, the Moloch and the Baal worshippers, they're the real problem. About half of the overall increase in grocery prices can be attributed to significant increases in prices in three products: beef, pork, and poultry. Well, we know it's a lot more serious than that. Again, the people behind this are the Moloch and Baal worshippers, and they're angry because DJT and his buddies over in the military have started rounding them up and trying to put a stop to them and stop to their SWIFT banking system that is corrupt and stealing our billions of dollars every year. They don't like it. They don't like the fact that they're being shut down. But I don't believe the shutdown is going to really continue. I don't think it'll be successful. Hence, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. Certainly, greed is playing a role, but as Zero Hedge has pointed out, a whole host of other factors are contributing to this crisis as well. Well, we understand the real problem. We understand where it's going, again, because we have the prophecies. Heading into fall, soaring food inflation shows no signs of abating and may worsen. This may cause socioeconomic turmoil in emerging market economies, mainly because people in the countries allocate more of their daily budgets to food. The summer that was supposed to mark America's independence from the V is instead drawing close with the U.S. more firmly under the tyranny of the V, with deaths per day backing up to where they were in March. I just hate talking about the V. Okay, so the point is, the music has stopped. Are you looking for a chair? So the dollar is about to die, just as Shane Warren was shown. And when it dies, it's going to die because they're not selling oil in dollars anymore. That's now in the process of changing. We also see that there's about to be a food shortage. As of September 1, the checks from the government are going to stop. They already stopped. And so it's just a matter of probably a month or two before we're going to see the people rioting in the streets with the signs, give us our entitlements. So a lot of that vision is about to take place. The part we haven't seen is the New Madrid Fault earthquake. Okay, so now let's go down to the next article. The headline says, Biden tells Israeli government he's reversing Trump's Jerusalem move despite its strong objections. This comes to us from westernjournal.com, September 8th, 2021. President Joe Biden is expected to reopen the U.S. Consulate in Jerusalem in a reversal of a decision by former President Donald Trump. When the Trump administration moved the U.S. Embassy in 2019 from Tel Aviv to Israel's capital city of Jerusalem, the consulate was merged with the new embassy, a move that led to worsening ties with the Palestinian Authority, NPR reported at the time. However, according to a Wednesday report by Axios, the Biden administration has its eyes set on overturning the decision made by the Trump administration despite Israeli objections. All right, why is that important? Let me refresh your memory. I'm going to read this from my notes. Back in April 15, 2002, my wife had a dream. Prophet Leslie Johnson has shown that Arafat would go into the hospital, and it happened about 2 years later. And when he'd go into the hospital, this would be the first of several things that would prove this prophecy to be correct, that Israel will give the Palestinians a state. The Palestinian state will be a temporary measure to allow the Israelis time to strengthen their military. Oil will be discovered in Israel, and oil will make the Jews willing to fight for their land. Then Israel and America will go against most of the rest of the Muslim world. Then, January 22 of 2006, she had the Lord speak to her again, gave her 7 newspaper headlines, and she heard an audible voice for the first one, which is, Israel refuses help to America. Now, this is the order she heard them, not necessarily the order that they will be fulfilled. She heard, Israel refuses help to America. Catastrophe hits America. Omer ushers in Palestinian state. We don't know what Omer is. Omer ushers in Palestinian state, one of America's greatest times of need. Israel is attacked. America sends troops. Chaos reigns as Americans protest help to Israel. Then she heard my voice quoting Dmitri, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. Now, in my opinion, this is the order I think that they'll take place. I think first it will be Omer ushers in Palestinian state. In other words, first we will split America. Then catastrophe hits America. That's probably, my guess is, the New Madrid fault hitting us. Then 3 is one of America's greatest times of need. 4, Israel refuses help to America. 5, Israel is attacked. America sends troops. 6, chaos reigns as Americans protest help to Israel. Then the fall of America will start with an internal revolution. So, the key thing to watch for is the splitting of Israel, specifically giving the Palestinians a state. When they go to give the Palestinians a state, time is very short. So in that Biden is telling the Israeli government he's reversing Trump's Jerusalem move, that may be involved in giving the Palestinians a state. That may be another really big signpost in the road heading to the fall of our beloved nation. When a nuclear device goes off, it produces an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, and it fries every computer chip unless they're protected. The good news is EMPshield.com has devices a military testing facility says are 100% accurate to protect against EMP, solar flares, lightning, power surges backed by a 10-year warranty and a $25,000 insurance policy. And they come with simple installation instructions for home, vehicles, RV, and electric generators. You can have electricity in a blackout. EMPshield.com. Use the promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. This helps Prophecy Club. That's EMPshield.com. Promo code PROPHECY for a $50 gift card. EMPshield.com. EMPshield.com. Heaven's Harvest has food in stock. The coveted freeze-dried food in stock at heavensharvest.com. And if you put the promo code in STAN, it helps your Prophecy Club, and it also gets you a packet of heirloom seeds free. heavensharvest.com. Promo code STAN, S-T-A-N. heavensharvest.com, STAN. Order School of the Watchman package. You get 2 2-foot by 3-foot full-color updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten spiral ring notebook of the book of Revelation, 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, all valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. School of the Watchman package, 2 2-foot by 3-foot full-color updated prophecy charts, my personal handwritten book of Revelation, the 5 DVDs of the School of the Watchman, valued at $325 for a gift of $200 at prophecyclub.com. Pastors inviting me in to teach the School of the Watchman get the package free. 785-266-1112 for the invitation. In 2017, I memorized the book of Revelation. I was shown a secret door linking the feasts to the prophecies of Revelation. For the first time, the book of Revelation can be put in correct chronological order. You can understand Bible prophecy. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 5. 1 for $20, but don't do that. 5 for $35 or 10 for $60. What is the most important information to every beating heart on the globe? After accept Jesus, it would be don't take the mark of the beast. Those taking the mark of the beast do not get soul death, but are tormented in the lake of fire and brimstone for eternity. How do you tell them? Give them miss the mark. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 10. 1 for $20, 10 for $30, and 20 for $50 at prophecyclub.com. Over the past 32 years, I've collected the best 101 prophecies from Dimitri Duduman, Michael Boldea, Leslie Johnson, Henry Gruber, Shane Warren, Terry Bennett, Marie Sklar, Augusto Perez, Doug Metzger, and more. It's called God's Warnings for America. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 5. 1 for $20, but don't do that. 5 for $35 or 10 for $60. My new book is called Tribulation, Secrets in Daniel because that's what it does. It shows you the part of Daniel you need to know, being you're about to be a tribulation saint and will desperately need to know and understand about the last days you live in. We offer them in shrink-wrap sets of 10, 1 for 20, 10 for 30, and 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. In How Pre-Trib 1, I expose the dirty little secrets pastors don't want you to know, which is why sometimes they can't preach the truth, especially about the rapture. Then, using the secret door, I explain the truth about the rapture, and then I rebut 25 claims pre-tribbers use to prove pre-trib. You'll finally know the truth about the rapture. We offer it in shrink-wrap sets of 10, 1 for 20, but don't do that, 10 for 30, 20 for 50 at prophecyclub.com. That's prophecyclub.com.